Welcome, my sweet, sweet little kittens, to tonight's menu for mischief. The first course served will be an in-map scan, with a healthy side of Enum for Linux to learn a little more about the environment. It appears our unsuspecting little bird is serving a file server on Apache with a side of Samba 4, both looking positively scrumptious and ripe for the taking. Enum for Linux reveals a shared folder left out on the web server like a buffet table just waiting for me to help myself. And it even shows me the usernames. But now let's take a nibble into that website, shall we? Just as I suspected, all those delicious images and files left in the open for anyone with an appetite. My naive little bird didn't even think to lock the pantry door. Now, let's test those default credentials and see if I can slip in a tasty little package. Just as I suspected, default passwords. What a shame. Now, I have Samba access to potentially inject my own little tasty morsels. I've never actually been outside, so I don't have any pictures of me on a beach, but I do have some tantalizing little treats I can leave. So let's go ahead and put this in there and give it a shot. Looks like it did successfully make its way into the file server. Now there's one more thing to test. Well. Fiddled again. Time now for the main course, my dear kittens. A reverse TCP script that will call back to my attacking machine on port 444. Once I've airmailed this digital delicacy into the shared folder, I'll trigger it through the local file inclusion. And voila! A piping hot shell served fresh from the oven. Can you smell it? The sweet sizzling scent of control. A recipe that's always satisfied my appetite for mayhem. Yes. The sweet symphony of shell scripts. A delicacy of tangled tapestry of ones and zeros like a midnight snack for the digital soul. The crunch of open ports beneath my teeth. The delicate aroma of unsecured configurations and stale credentials wafting through the air. Dancing spiders on a web of vulnerabilities, all singing in harmony. Wait, where was I? Oh yes! Now I've set up my listener, all there is to do is trigger the script. And bingo! I'm in. Now that I'm in, I always look for the low-hanging fruit. But alas, those quick bites don't satisfy. But that's quite alright. I prefer to savor the chase, to let the flavors develop. What I truly crave is a fire like in mold and shape. A dish I can enhance with my own spices, transforming into a gourmet exploit. Ooh, humana. Looks like fortune smiles upon me again. Looks like we've got 2 tasty little files ripe and ready for my culinary craft. This first one, not too bad. Looks like it's most likely the code for the Apache server that he's hosting. Definitely something that we could use, but let's go ahead and take a peek into the second one. Oh, sweet mama. Now that's what I'm talking about. A cron job left out in the open like a Raspberry Pi cooling on the windowsill. Probably rushed or forgotten, it's no matter, it's all mine now. I may not be able to nano directly into this, but that's hardly a problem. I'll simply echo in another reverse TCP script, only this time it'll call back to port 445. Every system is just a fortress of lies, a fragile shell hiding secrets that beg to be unearthed. Their firewalls and passwords are nothing but cheap tricks, illusions of safety that crumble beneath my fingers. Every exploit is a blade, every vulnerability a wound I carve deeper, leaving scars that will never heal. They underestimate the power of a single mind driven by desire, a mind that devours every oversight, every weakness, every key they thought was safe. I don't just break in, I bleed the system dry. The network begs to be conquered, and I am its reckoning.
Hot damn. So good. What's the difference between red and blue? A 401k, respectable job, and he's playing peekaboo. He danced around my network in ballerina shoes. First I saw your process and then I killed it too. Alright, calm down. I'm not rapping the whole thing, even though I know you want it. So I saw here that the process was running in Apache 2, so it was most likely from the www-data user. So I just started looking pretty much everywhere. I looked into cron tabs, I looked at anything that the www-data user could have access to. I looked in the directories and different files, and that's where I ended up seeing the ones that had overly permissive access to these two main files, the fancy list CGI and the environment refresh, which, as you've seen, the environment refresh is what was exploited to get root user. So I changed the permissions on that to nothing across the board and killed that cron job to make sure that it couldn't be exploited again. Just to knock it offline, to stop the persistent access. Then I changed the default credentials from Pi over to something else so they couldn't use that SMB exploit again to drop files in for local file inclusion. And then from there, I looked at the permissions that allowed the attacker to actually exploit files from the shared file. And it was because I had the permission sets on the shared folder too lenient. So I went in, I still wanted those to be able to communicate with different things because it is a shared file folder, but I made it a little bit more strict so that they couldn't execute from it. And that's pretty much it, baby. What's the difference between red and blue?
With tantalized. Ah, shit!
What's the difference between red and blue?
You can pay me in 400 Bitcoin or one really good carne asada recipe. Either one.